Hey, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we get set for chase race number 7 of the first season of the NNSCRA Almond Joy Series. We are getting closer and closer to the season finale at Auto Club, where we will crown our first inaugural Almond Joy Series champion. And things are beginning to take shape as we begin our final 3 races leading up to that season finale. We are here today for 30 laps of racing at Michigan International Speedway, and this should be a very interesting one, especially if this thing goes into a long green flag run. These drivers are more than likely going to have to pit before the checkered flag waves. You gotta know that all the crew chiefs down there are working the calculator, seeing how far they can push it, when's the best time to come to pit road. Of course, if a caution comes out, though, all that strategy could be completely out the window. We got an all Junior Motorsports front row. So far this season, only one Junior Motorsports car has been to victory lane. Has been to victory lane 3 times, but has been the only car, and that's K Jazzin. We got C Denton on the pole, Grayson Acevedo in second, so a chance here for a second Junior Motorsports driver to maybe go to victory lane with some good starting track position. You got J Hagen and Jeremy Jones lined up there in row 2. They haven't been to victory lane yet, and the highest starting chaser is Zachariah Hall in 5th. Let's go down and get command to fire him up.
Drivers, start your engines!
And there's the command to get them rolling. Coming into this race, the point standings are maybe the most spread out. I've seen them in quite a number of weeks. And so we'll have to see if they bunch up or not. Oh, I think we had trouble there on the start. That looked like that might have been the NOS Energy Toyota Camry of Eric Heiden with some issues here on the start, the 18. Well, we'll cover that in just a minute. The points coming into this race, Matthew Daleo is your points leader coming into today's race. He's rolling off from the 33rd position, by the way. Benny Watson coming to this race second in points. He's 12 points back. 19 points back. Third in the stands is Brooke Allen. K Jazzin is 4th in points. 21 points back. And Zachariah Hall, who I mentioned is the highest starting chaser there on the inside of row 3. He is 26 points back, 5th in the standings. Then you go down through Mitchell Carter, Nick Johnson, John Andrews, Jordan Lopes, James Qualls. Those drivers are all between 32 to 56 points back. And then 2 drivers, especially today, if they do not win this race, I think we can write them off from winning the championship. Connor Breeden comes into this race 11th in the points standings. He is 92 points out of the points lead, and 106 points out is J Kurtis in the 33. The potential driver that could also mathematically be eliminated from the championship if they don't get a good run today would be James Qualls, who runs currently 10th in the championship standings. Unlike the Hershey's Cup Series, where a win you're into the next round, we don't do rounds here in the Almond Joy Series. It's whoever has the best accumulated amount of points at the end of 10 races. So here we go. 30 laps of racing here today at Michigan. Is this thing going to go green to the end? Will we have ourselves a breakfast? We're about to find out. Green flag is out. C Denton gets us underway here at Michigan. And C Denton going to be taking part in tomorrow's Hershey's Cup Series race. Made it in on knockout qualifying, as did J Hagen there in that 3rd position, that Billy Diabetes Ford. And how about Grayson Acevedo setting his teammate up there in turns 1 and 2, crosses over, and he will go to the lead. So it looks like a Junior Motorsports car will lead the first lap, and it's not the one I was expecting was going to lead it. It's going to be the outside pole sitter, Grayson Acevedo, off turn 4, and he'll come to the line and hit the stripe. And there's the car that's on pit road that I saw have some issue on the start. That's Eric Heiden in the 18 out of Joe Gibbs Racing. Don't know if he necessarily is going to be able to return to the racetrack or not. Didn't even get rolling off the pit road. Zachariah Hall has now jumped up into the 2nd position. Zachariah Hall started 5th. And Zachariah Hall also has a win at a track very similar to this. He won at Las Vegas Motor Speedway near the beginning of the season. This is, I guess we can say, maybe the closest to the front we've seen him since then. But you got Acevedo leading. You got J Hagen right there. C Dollerton, J Jefferson, that's your top 5 right now. I mean, there's 4 drivers that are not battling for a spot in the chase. They're inside the top 5. You can bet they're not going to cut that 4 car any slack. Another car's not being cut any slack is Benny Watson. I mean, he's in a hornet's nest back here. 2nd in the points in that 89 car. Last went to victory lane at Taylor Swift Superdome, and he's surrounded by a lot of non-chasers as well, like Finguy, Zoerlein, Cole, Davey Johnson. Mentioned that Matthew Daleo started this race all the way back in the 33rd position. Let's see if he's been able to make any forward progress at all. There's Daleo. And he just crossed the line. He was scored in 37th place. So no, he is not making any forward progress right now, but he's joined by a number of other chasers here at the rear of the field as well, including James Qualls just ahead there in the 27. There's three-time winner K Jazzin, that orange Branch Chevrolet there up on the top line, and also way back here, there is Mitchell Carter in the 52. Right now is running last car on the lead lap in the 39th position. So Eric Hayden will return back to the racetrack, but is multiple laps down, at least 3 I believe, and will probably fall a 4th lap down before getting completely up to speed. As Acevedo showing the way, J Jefferson there in 2nd, Chris Dollerton right now running in the 3rd position. I gotta look and see for certain. Yeah, Chris Dollerton is a 2-time winner this season, and last week at Zenjoltis, we ended up setting an NNSCRA precedent, having 3-time winners in a single season in a single series. That's an NNSCRA record for K Jazzin, Matthew Daleo, and last week Jordan Lopez, all going to victory lane 3 times this season. If Chris Dollerton is able to get up here, also Benny Watson there in 5th, we could end up having our 4th 3-time winner this season. Chris Dollerton's 2 wins, if memory serves me correctly. The first one came at Bermuda, and then the second one, I believe, was the first race of the chase for the championship here this season at Chicagoland. Zachariah Hall, we mentioned, was the highest running chaser. That is no longer. Benny Watson has now moved up into the 4th position as Hall has fallen back to 7th. So right now, Benny Watson in good shape, as we already saw that Matthew Daleo is having some struggles fighting his way up through the field. Only 12-point separation between Daleo and Benny Watson, who both have pretty much been the only ones up the top of the point standings for the majority of this chase. So Benny Watson trying to take back the points lead, which he lost back at Oswego. Actually, no, it wasn't even at Oswego. It was actually, I think it might have been at, yeah, where in the world were we? Lime Rock. I believe that's where he lost the points lead at. Meanwhile, we got a potential battle for the lead up here. J Jefferson in that Winfield Toyota Camry on the back bump of the Hellman Chevrolet of Grayson Acevedo. He hasn't made a move yet, but he's got him right there within striking distance. Talking about Junior Motorsports having 2 cars at the front with Denton and Acevedo. Well, how about Roush Racing? Roush Fenway Racing's got a couple of cars up here now, worked their way into the top 10. Cody Hagen's been up here, and Paul Minnick, his teammate in the 6, has come to join him. So you got a lot of Fords running up here just inside the top 10 as well. Brooke Allen has now cracked the top 10, currently scored in 9th, and I believe now is taking the 8th position, maybe even 7th. Might be 7th from Cody Hagen. And indeed it is. So Brooke Allen up to 7th place now. So we have 3 chasers up inside of the top 10. Currently Watson, Allen, and Hall rather. Battle for 2nd is on. J Jefferson has Benny Watson there. We already saw one Joe Gibbs racing car encounter some issues here early on in Eric Hayden. Well, the other one, the 20 car, having a good run. Jeffrey Finguy there in the 20 machine in the 4th position. Former winner this season. Camry seems to be doing okay. We saw Jeremy Jones up here at the front briefly at the beginning of the race. I don't know where the 19 has fallen to now. Jesse Turner has now cracked the top 10. Turner now scored in that 10th position, just ahead of Seth Cole. You look back here, there's a lot of hungry drivers trying to get into the top 10. Mike Cole, Zach Rogers, Richard Johnson, Mike Becker, Caitlin Tsang. I look in this group and I see a lot of bridesmaids, people who finished 2nd place in a number of races. Turner is one, Richard Johnson's another, and Caitlin Tsang all the way back at the very first race at Daytona. Finished 2nd in a photo finish with the driver who comes into today's race as the points leader, Matthew Daleo. Well, Benny Watson wanting to get the lead from Grayson Acevedo up to this point. 1/3 of the way through this race, and no chaser has gotten a bonus point for leading a lap. Benny Watson trying to snap that. He's trying to get by Grayson Acevedo. We saw earlier J Jefferson was behind Grayson Acevedo, couldn't make a move. Can Benny Watson make any kind of a move there in that 89 Chevrolet Camaro? Takes a slightly higher entry into turn 1. Maybe hoping for a good run off. Dives it a little bit lower through 2. So yeah, getting a nice run off the corner. Might be able to slingshot to the inside here into 3. Oh, it looked like he was looking. I think Acevedo was ready to throw a block if necessary. we're getting close to the halfway point. When we get to the halfway point, the completion of lap 15, we'll give you a rundown of where your chase drivers are currently running. Again, like I said before, it remains the same. Well, actually, no, it doesn't. I thought that we had 3 drivers still there in the top 10, but now B Allan has fallen out of the top 10, so it's only Benny Watson and Zachariah Hall who remain in the top 10. Watson in 2nd, Hall in 8th. And we're about to have a 3-man fight at the front. It was Acevedo and Watson, and now P Minnick has drafted up here. And look at the run. The 6 car got out of turn 4. This may be 3 wide going into 1 for the race lead. Instead, Watson not able to get the run, and now will have to give way to the inside to P Minnick's Ford Mustang. And like I said, though, this thing is settled into a long green flag run. These drivers cannot make it the entire 30 laps on 1 tank of fuel. They will have to pit. Fuel window is somewhere between 24 to 25 laps, so they still got a little ways to go, but some drivers might risk it, try short pitting, getting the advantage of fresh Goodyear tires, and being able to log some better laps here, while these other drivers are out on worn tires. Now we're completing lap 14, going on to 15, but why don't we give you your rundown now of where your chase drivers currently are situated. Benny Watson crossed the line in the 2nd position. Zachariah Hall is in 10th. B Allan is dropped to 13th. Connor Breton is up to 15th place. J Kurtis in 18th. J Lopes runs 19th place. John Andrews is in 24th. Nick Johnson 27th. Matthew Daleo has only picked up 5 spots since the drop of the green flag. He's up to 28th. K Jazzin back in 31st place. J Qualls back in 36th. And Mitchell Carter right now still runs in 39th. Last car on the lead lap. All 40 cars still running. 39 on the lead lap. Eric Heiden had some early issues at the start of this race. Is 4 laps down to the leader, but all 40 cars that started this race are currently on track and running. As here comes P Minnick with a lot of friends and a big draft down the back straightaway. Battle for the lead for the first time today. P Minnick with help from Benny Watson, and it's as if the 5 car standing still, they were going to blow by him. So Minnick to the lead. First time today that another driver besides the 5 has led a lap, but again, it's a non-chase driver. No chaser has yet gotten the valuable bonus point of leading a lap here at Michigan. Benny Watson's been close, has not been able to do it though. And now we got some fresh faces up here at the front, like Minnick. J Jefferson's still up here. Jesse Turner's now up in this group, along with Jeffrey Finguy, Richard Johnson, and Chris Dollerton. Getting close to that fuel window. When are these drivers going to decide to pit? Acevedo going to dump to the inside there on Benny Watson. Woo! Looked like Watson wanted to let him in, but Acevedo says either you let me in or I turn you around off my nose. And Benny Watson had to do some big picture racing. I mean, his goal right now is to try and take the points lead back from Matthew Daleo. Guess he was willing to give up the spot. It kind of paid off for him in the long run. Got a nice run off of 2, and he's still hanging on to that 2nd position. Right now, from 1st to 8th, that's the long snake you're seeing right now. And then there's about a separation of about maybe half a second from 8th place Chris Dollerton back to 9th place J Hagen. That's cut down now to about maybe 0.3 of a second. So now, we're starting to have a couple more drivers get up here into this mix. T Tsang and J Hagen, 9th and 10th. Connor Breton also trying to catch up as well. J Zoerlein, Jonathan Rains, B Allan. We could have some drivers get themselves up here very quickly. There's J Kurtis. We talked about that he needs to basically get a win in the next couple of races here in order to even have some chance of getting mathematically in the hunt. But the bad news for him is a lot of other chasers are having some good runs ahead of him, like Connor Breton, like Benny Watson. Zachariah Hall's right there behind him. B Allan's up ahead. So yeah, I mean, things have got to go a lot different for that team of J Kurtis. Same for Connor Breton. I mean, they're both having decent runs right now, but they both need to have everybody else run into problems when they have their good runs. When they hit the line, it's going to be 10 laps to go, and we're going to be within 4 to 6 laps of the fuel window. When do these drivers decide to come to pit road? Do they stretch it as far as it can go? Do they decide to come in a little bit earlier? This is what the crew chiefs are paid for. This is what the crew chiefs are there for, to try and put their driver in the best position possible to be be able to win a fuel strategy race. P Minnick went down rather low there in that corner. Was that a signal to the drivers behind him? He might be coming this time. Now, Grayson Acevedo going to try and take the lead away from Minnick. And no, nobody going to come to pit road, at least out of the leaders at this point. Acevedo tried to get a nice run there through 3 and 4 on P Minnick, couldn't do it. Jesse Turner now moving up into the 3rd position. Benny Watson, I think, very content to ride right now in the 4th spot. Watson came into this race 12 points behind Matthew Daleo. In order to take the points lead with where he's running right now, Daleo would have to be running 17th or worse, and Daleo is currently scored in the 26th position. So right now, Benny Watson has the points lead heading into Homestead. Lock and change here, though. We've seen where a fuel strategy race can shake things up in the running order at the finish. Who you see up here in the top 10 right now may not necessarily be there due to issues that could happen on pit road, issues that could happen coming to pit road, issues that can happen on exit, issues that can happen so far as older tires against fresher tires in terms of laps. Sounds like the 6 might be playing with the throttle. He might be coming this time, and indeed he is. Acevedo is in. Richard Johnson's going to stay out, along with J Jefferson. Mitchell Carter's already made a pit stop. So in comes Minnick, Acevedo, Watson, Turner, Finguy, Breton, Rogers, Zoerlein, Kurtis, all the RCR cars coming down together. And that turned the lead over to, I believe, the 93 of Richard Johnson. Jefferson, Dollerton, C Tsang all stayed out, along with Cody Hagen, Jonathan Rains, Brooke Allen, William Brock, Kev Shear, John Andrews. And it looks like Richard Johnson's going to come to pit road this time. Is anybody going to stay out an extra lap out of this group? Yes, one driver is going to risk it. That's William Brock in the 3. Now, William Brock coming into this race is currently situated the lowest of any driver that has started all 26 races. He's currently scored in the 39th position. And what's he got to lose trying to play some strategy, stay out an extra lap, and maybe try and get himself some valuable track position, then come to pit road, maybe come back out as the race leader. William Brock also going to lead a lap here. And now he'll come to the attention of his crew. Well, I said that all the Richard Childress cars came down there on that second group. I was wrong. Oh, looks like another driver stayed out too. Colin Denton, our pole sitter, also stayed out an extra lap. And now they both come to pit road, and it looks like another car is also coming to pit lane. That's Joseph Romero. I guess the 87 also stayed out. So now, that could be the race leader right there, J Jefferson, if he's able to beat William Brock off pit road. Jefferson coming to hit the stripe now. Brock is just leaving pit road. I think Jefferson's going to get the race lead. And there goes Jefferson into turn 1. J Jefferson's going to be the race leader. And I think, I might be wrong, but I think I just saw some skid marks of some kind up in turn 1, and yet we do not have a caution. I think I saw, if we look again, I think you'll see up on the high line, there are some skid marks going up towards the wall in turn 1. So I think someone had some kind of scuffle, but it wasn't enough to bring out the yellow flag. J Jefferson is going to cross the line here, and he indeed is going to be the new leader of this race. Second place is Chris Dollerton. K Tsang is now in 3rd. 4th place is Jonathan Rains. Richard Johnson 5th. Remember what I said? Don't bank on the top 10 looking the same as it did before they came to pit road. Brooke Allen is now the highest running chaser in 6th. John Andrews has now worked his way up to 7th due to that strategy. Acevedo 8th, Watson's 9th, and Tyler Markel now completes the top 10. Look at this. P Minnick led coming to pit road, and now he's back to the 14th position, just losing a spot to Zach Rogers. K Tsang battling with Chris Dollerton for 2nd. J Jefferson got to be loving that. Let's see where the rest of our chasers are right now. Matthew Daleo worked his way up to 16th after that strategy. He now just dropped back to 17th, but still running now in the top 20. Nick Johnson's up to 22nd. K Jazzin 23rd. J Lopes 24th. J Kurtis now back to 26th. Connor Breton back to 29th. James Qualls in 35th. Mitchell Carter right now in 37th. And Zachariah Hall was up there for quite a good portion of this race, and now he's back in 38th. I wonder if maybe he and Joseph Romero might have been the two that made contact up in turn 1 that caused the skid marks, and maybe caused Romero to have to come to pit road. It looked like maybe a second time, and that forced him off the lead lap. When Jefferson hit the line, it was 2 laps to go. J Jefferson in the 28 Toyota. He comes into this race 32nd in the point standings. Talk about a Cinderella story for a team that's been struggling so much this season. They're still battling for second between Dollerton and C Tsang, which is the theoretical white flag of surrender, giving the win to J Jefferson unless something happens here on this final lap. White flag displayed for J Jefferson, trying to pilot his Toyota Camry home to his first Almond Joy Series win. C Tsang will take the second position via the high line out of turn number 2, but nowhere within striking distance to make a move in 3 and 4. J Jefferson just needs to hit his marks. J Jefferson, thanks to some pit road strategy, is going to be home free out of turn number 4. J Jefferson will pick up his first win of his Almond Joy Series career. He will take the checkered flag here today at Michigan. And remember, we mentioned C Tsang very beginning of the season, finished runner-up at Daytona to Matthew Daleo. Well, chalk up another second-place finish for that 017. Standings more than likely will be official, and it looks like we're going to have 3 drivers, chase drivers that is, that are going to finish this race in the top 10. Brooke Allen in 6th, John Andrews in 9th, Benny Watson will finish in 10th. It's going to be close for that points lead. It's going to be very close, depending on where Daleo officially finished this race. Looks like he finished pretty well. So as the standings have now become official, J Jefferson officially your winner of this race. C Tsang second. How about Jonathan Rains there? He was able to get Chris Dollerton at the line in order to grasp third. Dollerton slipped back to 4th on that final lap. Richard Johnson will complete the top 5 in the 5th position. Brooke Allen will finish in 6th, highest finishing chaser of the day. Zach Rogers will finish in 7th. Great run for that team. Grayson Acevedo spent the good portion of the beginning of this race showing the way, but will finish in 8th. John Andrews, talk about some strategy there for that team. They were struggling at the beginning of this race, but came to pit road, got the pit strategy they needed, and come away with a solid top 10. Benny Watson will finish right behind him in the 10th position. Rest of your chase drivers, where are they going to finish? Well, Matthew Daleo finishes in 18th place, D Kurtis in 21st, K Jazzin 22nd, J Lopes 26th, Nick Johnson back in 27th place. There's Colin Denton. We saw him and William Brock try some strategy. Well, Denton finished in 28th, Brock finished 29th, so that apparently did not work out quite in their favor, although Brock did get credit for leading a lap with staying out. Connor Breton finishes 31st, James Qualls back in 34th, so this may take James Qualls out of the championship picture now. Mitchell Carter finishes way back in 37th, and Zachariah Hall also finishing last car on the lead lap in the 38th position. Joseph Romero and Eric Heiden, they both finish off the lead lap. We had an incident up in turn 1, but doesn't really matter now what it was because it plays no effect on the outcome of who won this race, and it didn't bring out a caution flag. In order for Benny Watson to take the points lead from Matthew Daleo, he needed to finish 12 positions ahead of the 78. He only finished 8 positions ahead. So that means that the point standings head next week is going to be a separation of 4 points between still points leader Matthew Daleo and second place Benny Watson. They'll take that feud into Homestead Miami Speedway. But we're not done with our weekend here at Michigan. Up next, it is the first race of the 3rd round of the chase for the championship in the Hershey's Cup Series. Michigan, Homestead, Talladega will give us our final 4 to battle at Auto Club. We're down to our Elite 8. A win gets you into the final 4 race at Auto Club. What will we see tomorrow? Well, we'll have to find out then. Thank you all for tuning in to today's race, though, for Michigan, for the Almond Joy series. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like. Subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've shown you your full finishing results. Up next are your overall point standings as well as your chase points heading into Homestead Miami Speedway. J Jefferson is your winner here today. You've been watching a production of the NNSCRA, offline racing at its best.